Imagine you enter a quiet room where time seems to slow down. The air is filled with the warmth of light, the soft rustle of fabric, an almost imperceptible floral scent, and subtle beauty. Before you hang four dresses. Each of them is not just a piece of clothing, it is energy, mood, a state of soul. One is light, like the breath of spring. Another is confident and strict, with perfectly measured lines. The third is free, creative, living by its own rules. And the fourth is deep, passionate, one that attracts the eye from the first second. Dresses are not chosen by the mind, they are chosen by the heart. Jung said that a choice made intuitively shows not what we think about ourselves, but who we are deep inside. Right now, you don't need to analyze, compare, or think whether you'll choose correctly. Just look at these dresses and allow one of them to resonate inside. Because the dress you choose is the language of your soul. It is a reflection of what is happening with you now. Ready? Then listen to your heart. It knows where to look.
If you chose this dress, it means that in you lives a rare and quiet luminosity that is not always visible at first glance. You are one of those people in whom tenderness is not weakness, but a special form of strength. In a world that often rushes, makes noise, demands, shouts, and presses, you remain someone who knows how to feel. You don't hurry. You don't try to be louder than necessary. You don't fight where understanding is possible. You don't rush ahead of everyone, and you don't take a step faster than the soul is ready. In you is softness that lives deeper than time. You perceive the world through subtle sensations. You catch the silence between words. You sense a person's mood even before they utter a single phrase. You see beauty in little things, in the reflection of light on a wall, in how wind sways leaves, in how someone smiles quietly to themselves when thinking about something important. You don't live in broad strokes, you live in shades. And if it ever seemed to you that you're too sensitive, that's not true. You're not too much. You're exactly as you need to be. The world often just doesn't know how to hold in its hands what can easily break. But you're not glass. You're gentle, but not fragile. In you is soft resilience, like water. It can be quiet, but if needed, it changes form, bypasses obstacles, and continues to flow. Water doesn't resist, and in this is its strength. You have a kind heart, a real one, and these are not romantic words. This is a property of the soul that has closed itself from pain more than once, but chose to open again. You know how to love deeply, not superficially, not halfway. When you feel a connection, it's real. You're capable of being faithful, understanding, attentive, warm. You're capable of listening. You're capable of forgiving. But it's important to remember, forgiving doesn't mean enduring. Sometimes your softness can make you keep nearby someone who doesn't know how to handle your inner world carefully. But the truth is, you shouldn't have to teach people to be gentle. Those who are meant for you feel how to touch you right away. You're a person who chooses presence. You don't live for breakthroughs, victories, loud statements. You live for the moment, the scent, the glance, the touch, the warmth in your chest. You know how to be here, and this is your unique quality that many people have to learn for years. You're a person of feelings, a person of air, breath, silence. You're the inhale between words, and in this lies your deep beauty. Sometimes you may feel like you don't fit into this world, as if others move faster, louder, more confidently, more decisively. But your movement is different. It's organic. You don't bloom on command. Flowers don't open from shouting either. They open from light. And you need light, warm presence, care, space where you can be yourself. If such a person appears next to you, you open up. If not, you close, but gently, without aggression. You simply go inward. You can keep feelings inside for a long time, sometimes too long. Sometimes it seems to you that neither time nor place is right. It's not worth disturbing others. But the truth is, your feelings are not a burden. They're gold. They're warmth that heals. They're the word that returns a person to themselves. They're the soulfulness this world so lacks. And it's important for you to remember, your tenderness is not something to hide. It's something to protect. In relationships, you don't seek passion for passion's sake and not strength for strength's sake. You seek a home inside a person, someone with whom you can be silent and feel that's enough. Someone who sees not only your smile, but also your breath. Someone who won't be scared of your depth. You don't need storms. You need clarity. If you chose this dress, it means your soul needs one thing right now: softness. More sleep, more warm light, more careful movements, more warmth toward yourself. Allow yourself to be. Don't force, don't demand, don't rush. You unfold in silence. You are the airy dress. You are breath. You are warm light. You are one who knows how to love, not loudly, but deeply. And in this lies your true strength.
If you chose this dress, it means that in you lives a strength that manifests not loudly, but calmly. This is not that confidence that shouts, proves, or strives to be noticed at any cost. This is confidence that simply is, like an inner core, like a straight back, like clarity in the eyes. You're a person who knows who they are, or at least goes toward this knowledge consciously and without illusions. You don't like excess. You're alien to fuss, drama, emotional noise, and games where you need to guess subtext. You value directness, but not crude, rather respectful. You choose simplicity, but not poor, rather conscious. You create order, but not rigid, rather stable. In you is inner structure. You don't build castles in the air. You act in reality. You see things clearly. You know how to analyze, separate main from secondary, make decisions without falling apart from doubts. This doesn't mean you never worry. You just don't allow emotions to control your life. You know how to be with yourself, even when it's difficult. And this ability is one of the most mature. In relationships, you value honesty, not in words, but in actions. You don't believe promises if there are no actions behind them. You don't buy a beautiful shell. Content is important to you. You choose people who can keep their word, respect boundaries, be reliable. And if relationships don't give this, you know how to leave. Maybe quietly, maybe without scandal, but finally. When you say goodbye, you do it not with offense, but with understanding that your path further is already different. You're person of the path. You don't wait for a miracle. You go toward it step by step, even when slowly, even when invisible to others. Let someone live in flashes and rushes. You build a foundation, and therefore, everything you create lasts long. You don't destroy yourself for a momentary emotion. You choose what has meaning. If you chose this dress, it means your soul needs clarity and order right now. Perhaps you're in a period when you want to bring sense into life, reconsider circumstances, relationships, goals. This is time to structure, choose, clear, place accents. This is not time of chaos. This is time of building. Your movement is not abrupt, not stormy, not chaotic. It's intentional. You go where you truly want to arrive, and this makes you strong. You are the structured dress. You are clarity. You are inner support. You are one who knows how to choose yourself, and in this lies your dignity.
If you chose this dress, it means that inside you lives a soul that doesn't agree to live as one should. You don't fit into rigid forms, don't tolerate narrow frames, don't adjust to others' expectations. You're a person of movement, unfolding, searching for inner truth. It's impossible to stop you in place if the heart calls somewhere further, and you hear this call even when you try to be silent. You feel the world not with the mind, but with the body, skin, breath. You don't look at rules, you look at how something feels. You can't force yourself to do what you don't believe in. You can't be for the sake of form. You live as others sometimes only dream of daring by the soul's response. In you is natural spontaneity. You can suddenly change route, abandon the old, start the new, even if nobody around understands why. Your decisions often seem illogical to others, but they're exactly what lead you where you're destined. Where others choose safety, you choose authenticity. And though sometimes this path seems not straight, complex, unpredictable, you always find yourself. You're free even when outwardly it seems you're bound by circumstances. Inside you is a place where no one can enter without your consent. This is your inner territory, your air, your own universe. You can be in a crowd but remain yourself. You can be in a relationship but not lose yourself. You can change life if it stops resonating. You know how to enjoy beauty, not that which is in museums and shop windows, but that which is in the breath of wind, in red leaves on asphalt, in music that only you hear. You notice what others miss. You live poetically. You don't try to explain it to anyone because often it's impossible to explain. The soul simply knows. In love, you don't tolerate surface. You need the feeling of living connection. When next to a person, you can be real. When you can cry, laugh, be silent. And all this is one breath. You won't hold on to relationships in which you disappear. You don't build love for form, you need the essence. And if you're alone, it's not about loneliness. It's about freedom to be with yourself. It's about respect for your own heart. Your energy is soft but alive. It doesn't take space, it creates it. People next to you feel that one can breathe, that one doesn't need to pretend, that one can be oneself. But sometimes this very thing makes you vulnerable because there are those who try to take your warmth, your responsiveness, your creative power. And here it's important to remember, freedom is not only going where you want, but also setting boundaries for those who destroy your clarity. You're not chaos, you're a flow. These are different things. Chaos breaks, flow leads. You flow, you change, you grow, you allow life to unfold you layer by layer. You don't strive to be understood by everyone. And this is wisdom, because understanding is not about words, but about kinship. Your soul is connected with something natural, with forest, with wind, with river, with earth. Time alone with yourself is important to you, to hear the inner voice again. You can get tired of people, of noise, of a world that's too loud. And your healing is in returning to the simple, in a walk, in music, in dance, in warm blanket, and silence. Light returns gently. You are the boho dress. You are breath of freedom. You are a creative spark that doesn't agree to go out. You live as the heart feels, and this is your true path. Don't let the world make you convenient. Don't let anyone lock up your air. Your path is the path of one who remembers that you live only once, and you live truly.
If you chose this dress, it means that inside you lives a strength that doesn't need explanations. You're not loud, you don't shout about yourself, but it's impossible not to notice you. You can enter a room quietly, and still the space changes. This is not about external effect. This is about inner composure, depth, and that rare presence that is felt with the skin. In you is mystery, not artificially hidden, but natural, one that is born from experience, realizations, pain, growth, and return to yourself. You're not one of those who open completely immediately. Your layers open only to those capable of seeing with the heart, not the eyes. You don't tolerate superficial people. Contact of souls is important to you, not just play of images. You know how to love deeply. Not to fall in love with illusions, not to build plots in your head, but to feel a real person, with all dark and light sides. You don't fear others' depth, emotions, experiences. You can be next to those going through a storm because you know what storm inside means. But simultaneously, you don't dissolve, you don't lose yourself. You're not capable of loving at the cost of your own soul. You know how to be in feelings and remain in your center. And this is incredible maturity. In the past, you probably had to go through moments where you had to choose. Either you become convenient, soft, accommodating, adjusting, or you remain yourself even if it costs loneliness, and you chose yourself. Perhaps it was painful, perhaps it cost much, but this very choice became the foundation of your strength. You don't fear darkness. You don't fear feelings that others try not to notice. Desire, jealousy, fear, power, deep need to be seen and recognized. You don't play, I'm all light and proper. You're real. And this is the most attractive thing about you. You don't fear your passion. This is not a flash, not a light spark. This is fire that burns in the heart quietly but unchangingly. You don't love superficially. You love with your whole self, with body, gaze, memory, presence, and that's precisely why you'll never agree to a connection without meaning. You're not looking for someone. You're looking for one who sounds in your rhythm. You know how to wait, not in the sense of senseless waiting, but in the sense of inner knowing. Everything that's yours will come, and will come not when you want, but when you're ready. You know how to be on the path without anxiety. You know how to be in silence without fear. You know how to be alone without feeling of loss. Your beauty is not external, although your appearance is often bright, expressive, or memorable. Your beauty is in the gaze, in how you look, deeply, directly through, as if you see a person further than their words. And this can scare those unaccustomed to real contact. But those ready for depth are drawn to it irresistibly. You're a woman who knows her worth, but doesn't become cold or closed. You can be tender, affectionate, vulnerable, but all this you give only into safe hands. You don't beg for love, you choose it. If you chose the stress, it means right now you're at a point of inner maturing and attracting your own strength. You're no longer the girl waiting for someone to come and save. You're a woman who knows she herself is light and fire. Your presence says more than words. Your silence is louder than screaming. Your quiet is deeper than any explanations. You are the evening dress. You are depth and fire. You are attraction and clarity. You are one to whom people come not for games, but for truth. And if someone wants to be next to you, they'll have to be real. And this is your greatest strength.
Every dress you saw now is not just fabric and form. It is reflection of states that live inside us. We're not the same every day. Sometimes we're lightness and breath, sometimes structure, clarity, and composure, sometimes free flow, creativity, spontaneity, and sometimes depth, strength, and attraction that's impossible to explain with words. What you chose today is not the result of analysis. It's response. It's the quiet voice of the soul that rarely errs. But remember, no choice fixes you forever in one role. You can be airy and strong, confident and tender, free and deep. You're alive, multifaceted, changing, real. The dress you chose shows what sounds in you strongest right now. If you want, you can return to this video later and make the choice again. It will be different, and that will also be truth. And now just feel how the breath became deeper, how more clarity appeared inside,
how something gently returned to its place. You hear yourself, and that's the most valuable thing. Write in the comments which dress resonated with you. Sometimes other people's words amazingly confirm what we feel ourselves. Thank you for taking this journey. Take care of yourself subtly, gently, and honestly, because you are the art of being alive.